Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Terumot. We are up to Perek Hey Mishnah Daled. Today's Mishnah should be Le'nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Rabbi V'Leniel ben Brucha Israelov Menuchatam B'Gan Eden. Amen. The previous Mishnayot discussed Terumah becoming nullified when mixed with Chulin. Today's Mishnah is going to discuss whether Terumah Tme'ah, impure Terumah, which became mixed into Terumah Teorah, pure Terumah, can become nullified. The Mishnah says, Se'at Terumat Tme'ah shenafla le'me'ah se'at Terumat Teorah. If a se'ah of Terumat Tme'ah fell into 100 se'ah of Terumat Teorah, 100 times more, Bet Shammai Osrim. Bet Shammai prohibit even a Kohen to eat the mixture because it contains Terumah that is Tameh, which cannot be eaten. And the Rav explains, the Savre, the opinion of Bet Shammai is, that the rule of 100 times more to permit Terumah that became mixed with something else doesn't apply to if it becomes mixed with Terumah Tme'ah, if it falls in Terumah Teorah. But Bet Hillel permit a Kohen to eat it. And the Mishnah explains right now Bet Hillel's position. Amru Bet Hillel le Bet Shammai. Bet Hillel said to Bet Shammai, Ho'il u'teorah asura lezarim u'tme'ah asura lekohanim. Ma teorah ola, af tme'ah ta'aleh. Bet Hillel gave a logical argument to Bet Shammai. They wanted to say an argument based off logic that the mixture should be allowed. Like this, we'll say what their argument is. Ho'il u'teorah asura lezarim u'tme'ah asura lekohanim. Since Terumat Teorah is forbidden to be eaten by non-Kohanim, and Terumat Tme'ah is forbidden to be eaten even by Kohanim, it follows that we should compare the two as follows. Ma Teorah Ola, just as Terumat Teorah is nullified in 100 parts of Chulin, and the entire mixture is then permitted to non-Kohanim, Af Tme'ah Ta'ale, so too Terumat Tme'ah should be nullified in 100 parts of Terumat Teorah, and the entire mixture permitted to Kohanim. Just like by Terumat Tme'ah and Chulin you allow it, so too here Terumat Tme'ah that fell into Torah, allow it. Amru lahem Bet Shammai. Bet Shammai said to them, Lo, your argument is illogical. Whether Terumat Teorah nullifies Terumat Tme'ah cannot be derived from the fact that Chulin nullifies Terumat Teorah, because we can make a counter argument. Im he'elu ha'chulin ha'kalin ha'mutarin lezarim et ha'teorah ta'ale terumah chamura asura lezarim et ha'tme'ah. If Chulin, which has a leniency that it is permitted to be eaten by non-Kohanim, can nullify Terumah Tehorah, does that mean that we can say that Terumah, which has a stringency that is forbidden to non-Kohanim, can nullify Terumah Tme'ah, which the Mefarshim explain? In other words, according to Beit Shammai, Chulin has greater permissibility since it's mutar, permitted even to non-Kohanim. Therefore, it is logical that it should have greater power to nullify. But Terumat Teorah, on the other hand, has less permissibility because it's permitted only to Kohanim. Therefore, it should have less of a permissibility, less of a power to nullify. And the Mishnah actually interestingly tells us that this dispute was resolved. La'achar she'odu, it's encrypted. It says, after Bet Shammai changed their position and agreed with Bet Hillel that Terumat Teorah can nullify Terumat Tme'ah, there was another dispute about if anything else has to be done. But the Rav fills us in on why Bet Shammai decided to accept the opinion of Bet Hillel. Bet Hillel convinced Bet Shammai with the following argument. A non-Kohen who eats Terumah is punished by death at the hands of heaven. Mitah b'dei Shamayim. A non-Kohen who eats Terumah Tme'ah, however, only transgresses a positive commandment, which the Torah doesn't tell us the penalty, which is much less severe. Therefore, if Terumah Torah can be nullified, even though eating Terumah Torah is a serious sin, then Terumah Tme'ah, whose penalty is not as severe, can certainly be nullified. Bet Shammai then accepted the opinion of Bet Hillel. So the Mishnah continues, like we said, La'achar she'odu, after Bet Shammai changed their position and agreed with Bet Hillel, there was another mechloket about if anything else has to be done. Rabbi Eliezer says, Terom v'tisaref, a se'ah is separated from the mixture to replace the Terumat Tme'ah. That se'ah is then burned, and the rest of the mixture can be eaten by Kohanim. And the Rambam explains to us that in Mishnah Bet, Rabbi Eliezer holds that if a se'ah of Terumat Tme'ah falls into 100 se'ah of Chulin that is tahor, a se'ah is to be separated from the mixture to replace the Terumah that fell in. that se'ah is treated as Terumah Tme'ah. So here it teaches a similar halacha. Even though the Terumah that is Tameh is nullified by the Terumah that is Tahor, a se'ah still has to be separated from the mixture to replace it, and it is treated as Terumah Tme'ah. But the sages say, Avda b'mi'uta, the original se'ah of Terumah Tme'ah is considered to be lost in the mixture because of its small size compared to the Terumah Teorah, meaning it is completely nullified and there is no need to replace it. Therefore, the entire mixture can be eaten by Kohanim. And the Mefarshim explain that in the previous two Mishnayot that the Chachamim required that a se'ah be separated from the mixture and given to a Kohen, that's done to make up for the loss to the Kohanim where the entire mixture is eaten by non-Kohanim. Here the entire mixture is Terumah and will be eaten only by Kohanim. Right? Here the entire mixture is Terumah and is going to be eaten only by Kohanim. Therefore, the Chachamim say there is no need to replace the se'ah of Terumah that fell in, whereas like we said in the two previous Mishnayot where the Chachamim required you to separate a se'ah from the mixture and give it to a Kohen, that's because the entire mixture was going to be eaten by non-Kohanim, it was Chulin. That is in Rabotai Mishnah Daled. And obviously the Rab tells us, V'alacha k'chachamim, the halacha follows the opinion of the sages. That is in Rabotai Mishnah Daled. Mishnah Hey now discusses is if a se'ah of Terumah falls into less than 100 se'ah of chulin, it is not nullified. The chulin terumah mixture is called medumah, and it has to be treated as terumah. If, however, the se'ah of terumah fell into at least 100 se'ah of chulin, it's nullified. Nevertheless, we said a se'ah of produce has to be separated from the mixture and given to a kohen. So the Mishnah now discusses the halacha if the se'ah that was separated became mixed into chulin. Se'ah terumah shenafla leme'ah. If a se'ah of terumah fell into 100 se'ah of chulin, hikbiha, and after removing a se'ah from the mixture, like the halacha is v'nafla lemakom acher, the se'ah that was removed fell into another place and became mixed with other produce. Rabbi Eliezer says, medamat kitruma vadai. It creates meduma as definite terumah does, meaning the se'ah that was removed from the mixture is viewed as if it was made up entirely of terumah. Therefore, it is nullified only if there are 100 se'ah of chulin in the second mixture. Rabbi Eliezer taught us in Mishnah Bet that when a se'ah of terumah falls into chulin and is nullified, the se'ah is then removed from the mixture and it is viewed as taking the place of the original terumah. So here too, the se'ah is treated as if it's completely terumah. But the sages say, Ena midamat ela lefi cheshbon. It creates midumah based only on the proportion of terumah it contains, because the Mefarshim explain, since the original mixture contained 1 part of terumah and 100 parts of chulin, the se'ah that was separated also contains 1 part of terumah for each 100 parts of chulin. If it falls into enough chulin to nullify the 1 part of terumah that it contains, the new mixture is allowed. And the Mefarshim explain, as an example, if the se'ah that was removed became mixed with a se'ah of chulin, the terumah, which is only 101 of a se'ah, is nullified. And the Mefarshim continue to explain that in actuality, the se'ah that was removed already contained 100 parts of chulin, but the Chachamim decreed that the terumah is not nullified in those 100 parts of chulin. They did that so that a se'ah should be given to a kohen to make up for the terumah that fell in the mixture. Therefore, the chulin in that se'ah has to be ignored. However, the fact is that it contains only 1 part of terumah. Therefore, we want to determine how much chulin is needed to nullify it. As long as there is enough chulin to nullify the 1 part of terumah, the entire mixture is allowed. That is in Rabotai today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.